fights this week? Oh man, we gotta have some fights.
Oh yeah, welcome to the show that we've been trying to put together for a long time, and now we're here. We're finally here. What's up, Asylum?
What's up, Savage?
I bet you people are missing us. It's been a while. I missed the whole season. You know, you're still active.
Multiple seasons.
Yeah, but you're still active out there, out in the middle of enemy territory out there in Kansas City. How's that going for you?
It's going. It's. I love being in the middle of this controversy and everything. I love that shit talking. You know how it goes. This is a lifestyle for us.
Oh yeah. I mean, I know your party sucks. You know, you got to hear all the trash talk from them Kansas City fans. But I know you're probably out there right in the middle with the middle finger up, like, you know, keep talking. We'll get you again this year.
That and I hit him where it hurts in the stats.
All right. Let's go to hold on. Let's talk about this show. We've been trying to do this show together for a while, and let's just talk about the title, the cage match.
The cage
I'm
match.
a wrestler, and you have a cage. There you go, cage match.
Cage match. Exactly.
1 + 1 = too many. All right. Let's go to the first question here. All right, I'm gonna have you answer first. Asylum. You're a Raider fan. I'm a Raider fan. What drives your passion as a Raider fan, though?
Oh, for me, it started at a young age in the 80s. Back before Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson kind of solidified it. And, you know, for me, I've bled silver and black since the day I was born. I was wearing Raider gear before I even knew what it was.
Yeah, I was born a Raider fan. You know, my dad's a Raider fan. And I remember back in the day when they were still in LA, if the game wasn't televised on the local network station, back then it was on NBC, you had to pull out the TV with the antennas, with the rabbit ears,
and
put it on channel 8. Yeah, You gotta, with the aluminum foil, Al Bundy style, gotta have everyone standing around with aluminum foil connected to the.
And the youngest kid was the one who had to stand there and hold the antenna and move it at every no, little bit more to the left, little right, no, right there, perfect, don't move.
Yeah, that was me. I was the one that had to be the bunny ears, and it would be on channel 8, another NBC station on the airwaves, to try to watch a Raider game from LA. You know, when we were up in the Bay Area. So, that's what I remember as growing up. But I really got into like paying attention to stats and everything when I started playing high school football, and I started to understand the game more. And, you know, as a Raider fan, it's divided in the Bay Area. You have your Niner fans talking mess, and then you have your Raider fans.
I grew up in that family full of 49ers fans. I was literally the black sheep.
The silver and black sheep.
Silver and black sheep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, and that's how it was, you know, and you took pride in being the minority because, you know, there was more Niner fans because a lot of them were bandwagons, and, you know, they were, I guess, decently good at the time.
Well, in the 80s, yeah, you know, they had them Super Bowl runs, you know, they had a couple of big players, stuff like that, you know. We won't say no names because, you know, we don't care to remember them.
Yeah, only the ones that ended up in silver and black. I know it kills Niner fans to see Jerry Rice in a Raider jersey.
Roger Craig, Ronnie Lott.
Oh, yeah, Ronnie Lott, Roger Craig. I mean, I would say Romanowski too, but he was a Bronco fan in between. I'm a Bronco player in between. But he was drafted by the Niners, went to the Eagles. won 2 rings with the Niners, 2 rings with the Broncos, and came to us and almost got a 5th one.
Almost.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my favorite players. I was too young to really see Bo Jackson live, but seeing a lot of his highlights, I love Bo Jackson because he was a 2-sport player. And me growing up, I played baseball and football in high school. And like even now, I'm in the old people softball leagues. I try to pretend like I'm Bo Jackson diving, and I can't run up the fence like he did when he was playing with I believe the Royals at the time.
The Royals, yeah, ran up the fence.
Yeah, we don't really have fences. If the ball goes past you, you gotta chase it down. So, but I grew up in the Tim Brown era.
Arm though, right? You could throw them out at home, all the way from the warning track.
That was probably the one. I didn't have the arm like Bo Jackson, but I had the speed. I didn't have the arm though, and I had the aggressiveness playing in the outfield, but I didn't have the arm. That was the one thing God said, "I'll give you everything, but I'm sorry, I can't give you the arm." I said, "Whatever."
No cannon, huh?
Yeah, that's why I have to die for everything and make sure everything's caught first. Base hit, it's over.
I was athletic too when I was young and played all the sports, baseball, softball, football. I never got to play in school or anything like that, but I played it all as kids. And baseball, my favorite position was shortstop. I like shortstop instead of outfield. But when I played football, I played both sides of the ball. I love playing defense mostly, but I like to get my hands on the ball and play that wide receiver when I could.
Yeah, I was when I played in high school, I was an offensive lineman. I did a little bit of defensive end, but I don't know, the offensive line for me, I love playing offensive line because you're in a fight every single play. They don't take out offensive linemen.
That's why they call it the trenches.
Yes. Control the trenches, you control the game.
Yes.
And as I was played 3 years on varsity, I was one of the smallest offensive linemen. I played left tackle, so I was the quarterback's blind side. And, so there were guys that were bigger than me, and I had to do little Raider tricks, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Rule number one.
Rule number one, cheating is encouraged. Raider rule number two, refer back to rule number one.
Yes, from Matt Millen, yes. And that's what I would do. I learned how to hold the defensive end sprinting in and just fall backwards and just let them fall down. And the referees never called a flag on me because my hands were still inside.
As long as they're inside, it's not holding.
Yes, as long as it's inside,
it's holding.
If you have him like this under control, not pull this way or this way. If you're right here, no holding. He can cry all he wants. But I had to do what I had to do, and I never had my quarterback get blindsided. Now, the guys in the middle, I couldn't really speak for, but that was me, and that's why I learned.
You can only do your job. You can't do everybody else's job.
Yeah, I would try to help block, push off. If I'm going after the linebacker, I would push off the end just to give the other guy time to pull around. But if I'm pass blocking, I can only control who's in front of me and my inside gap, because that's the main thing. No one comes inside you on the offensive line. And playing football, that's where I kind of learned. That's where I really started learning the game of football. Penalties.
I'm sure you heard it as an offensive lineman. If your name's not called, you did a good job.
Yes, it's a faceless position unless you mess up. Then the guy keeps holding offside, not offsides, false starts and all that. Yeah, false starts. Yeah, then they'll know who you are. But if you don't cause any, you're blocking you're doing your assignments. Your quarterback stays upright from your side, and they don't say your name. Hey, it's a faceless position. If you're not heard of, that means you're doing good. So yes. But yeah, one of the games that stands out for me was the AFC Championship game against the Titans in 2002 on our way to the Gruden Bowl. I was at that game. I was up in Mount Davis, way up there in my head when they still allowed people up in Mount Davis, that steep hill they had up there. That's where all the people will get drunk, messed up. You smell weed up in the stands because it was too far. Security doesn't want to be up there. And I had my headphones on. I had these big like headphones like this with my little walk. I had a Walkman. I had the little Walkman radio. And I listened to Greg Papa and Tom Flores. And I'm trying to look at these little dots on the grass.
Raiders.
Yes. Now what I mean, I'm not mad at. I understand. He's on the other side of the bay now. I understand why. He was a diehard Raider. He was a diehard Raider. He was always alongside Al Davis, and he was not for Mark Davis interviewing Mike Shanahan before he hired Jack Del Rio. But he said it publicly on his radio station. Papa, he said, if Mark Davis hires Mike Shanahan, I will quit my job because Al Davis hates Mike Shanahan. There are 3 people that he hates the most: Pete Rozelle, Marcus Allen, and Mike Shanahan. And he said that if he hires Mike Shanahan, I quit my job. I cannot support that. Al Davis will turn in his grave. He was like a father to me. I'm not going to allow that to happen. Mark Davis didn't like it. He didn't say anything to him that whole time, that 3 years with Jack Del Rio, until they hired Gruden. And then they fired him on his vacation on his way to see his daughter down in Southern California. It's on YouTube. But so I'm not mad at Greg Papa being on the other side. I understand it. I dealt with a similar situation with my own high school. I was coaching my high school for 2 years, and the coach that I had that I was coaching under just totally, like, me and him didn't agree. There was a lot of stuff, unfair stuff he did with the kids. A kid can be there every single day practicing, but if you're not a favorite, you're not playing. I didn't like that. So I was there for the kids. And after I left coaching, I thought about going to my rival, my high school rival, down the main street. I don't want to say where I live. Let's keep that.
I hope it's not who I think it is.
It's my
we'll
school.
Go this far. Does it start with a D?
No, it starts with an M.
Oh, okay, I know which one. Okay.
Yeah, it starts with an M. So
I know what we're talking about, because the one I'm talking about was my high school rival too, and I might have had to slap you upside your nappy head with that one.
No, our main rival was down the main road, the main exit road. And I thought about it, but I ended up working. I ended up having to get an actual real job. And I did that for 18 years, huh?
I said, don't you hate that?
Yeah, when adult life, has to kick in, and you have to, you can't do the fun jobs you want to do, like coaching, being a part of a sport, teaching kids. I thought about being a teacher, and I learned that love from when I was coaching.
That's another thankless job right there. You just like thankless jobs.
Yeah, offensive line, teaching. Teaching offensive line, put it together. But the championship game, my mom had got us tickets. With me and my sister. We went to that game. And I've been to many games before, but it was that one game, to see a Raider team clinch at home a Super Bowl berth, whether I was up in Mount Davis or wherever. I was up in Mount Davis. And it was just like the atmosphere there was crazy. We're yelling Super Bowl.
That's the year. That's the night that Oakland got set on fire.
The first time, yes.
Yes.
And they got set on fire again the week later after Super Bowl 37.
Yeah, for me, let's see. You're talking about that game. I didn't become a season ticket holder. I went to my first game in 2003, the year after that.
Okay.
Became a season ticket holder that year. I've been
that year.
It was, I know, but I was blessed to sit from my very first game till the very last game I ever been to in that stadium. I sat literally in the same seat. I was lucky to take over these season tickets from my dad's coworker who moved to Reno, and basically sold off a couple of seats. That's how I got to go to the first game. And then literally just asked if I wanted the season tickets. This is back when you could transfer them over to person. I was one of the last of the few, thank God for that one, to get them transferred over and been to every game for 17 years after that, all the way up to that last game against the Jags. And probably the game that stands out the most for me, I'm gonna put two games out there. Both of them happen to be against the same team. I have one game, which I believe was a couple years before the second game, and that's because I was on the field. They were playing the Chiefs. I was on the field when my daughter got to run out of the tunnel and cheer with the Raiderettes on the field. So that was definitely a memorable game because I got to see her run out of that, go out to that shield where every single last Raider fans ever wanted to stand and be on that Jumbotron cheering with the Raiderettes. Now, the actual game that stands out as a game is going to be that first win in what we have. It was like something like 11 years or whatever against the Chiefs. Took 4 tries with zeros on the clock for us to finally get that touchdown to win the game. You want to talk about the place exploding?
Yes.
We're talking about season ticket holder. We're talking about multiple losses. We're talking about Jamarcus Russell years. We're talking about you go there and we always have the hope we're going to win, but we've seen so many losses. To have that game, to have that crucial thing go, to beat the Chiefs, who was whooping on us constantly, and get that final touchdown, to be in the end zone I was sitting at, and to have that, to hear that place explode, there's no feeling like it.
I was at that game. I remember that game. I was surprised the refs, I don't want to say helped us out, but they called a fair game where they gave us.
They called the plays right.
Yes.
They called one against us. We had that push off with Crabtree.
Yeah.
We had that push off. That was against us. But there was still time left on the clock. I'm surprised they called the other 3 in the back of the end zone for what they were and actually let us play the game and give us a chance to win. Maybe they felt bad for us. Who knows?
Yeah, I remember that game because first Jared Cook scored. He had that one ball where he dove and it looked like we scored, and they said
he didn't
no.
Die. He caught it, fell on his ass.
Yeah. He caught it back, and it looked like he rolled in. We were like touchdown. They said touchdown. Every score is reviewed. Every score. And they said that he had fell down right before the goal line. He didn't break the plane. Went to go try again.
If you watch the replay, his ass clearly misses it.
Yes,
it was more like the 1/4, not the 1/2. But you know,
yeah, it was the correct call. Then they went to Crabtree on the right side, towards the right of the end zone. Little slight push. It reminded me of the same play. I don't know if you remember this when the Raiders played against the Ravens in that championship game when we actually did score a touchdown to Andre Rison, and they threw a flag offensive pass interference. It was like a slight little, because he extended his arms off of the defender, and they go and throw that flag, which they rarely throw that flag. You rarely get an offensive pass interference in the end zone like that.
But the rule is, if the arm's fully extended, it's a push-off offensive pass interference every time. It's that full extension. If he keeps the elbow bent, it's not a push-off.
Yeah, well, on that play with the Kansas City Chiefs, when Crabtree extended, I think Peters, who we have now, I think he was defending him right on that play.
No, Peters was defending, and now he's playing for the Raiders.
And he flopped.
Yeah, I think so.
On LeBron James and flopped and got the foul.
Yep,
that's what happened.
He got beat on that cut and just fucking threw himself back.
Exactly. And we thought we won then, and they threw the flag. We're like, oh, here we go. Refs are going to come in and say, no, not tonight. Not on Thursday night, because we had the color rush, which I still don't understand why we are white. And we're all black. Well, our home team, our home colors is always black, and we're all white. But the Niners.
I'm sorry. That was sacrilege. I'm glad we won that game, but it could have been in a different uni. It should have been in a different uni.
I still don't understand why the Niners get to have all black during when they were doing Color Rush. At what point?
How about this year? The Colts are getting black helmets.
They're getting black helmets now.
They're getting black helmets for one of their games. The
See,
Colts.
everybody wants to be like the Raiders. There's only two teams that have black jerseys, and that's the Raiders and the Steelers.
Yep.
And
that's
we
part of
both
our normal colors. They're not alternates. They're not nothing else. These are our everyday colors. It's in our name, silver and black.
Yes. That was the one thing Al Davis wanted. He goes, I want our organization to be so recognizable that when you just hear the color silver and black, you know you're talking about the Raiders.
The
Raiders. But that Kansas City game that you're talking about, that emotions up and down within like a 3 minutes, window. Because we scored, then they had that one pass in the back of the end zone where it went over. I forgot who was the receiver for that one, but they called defensive pass or holding on that one. We got another try, and then there was another foul, another flag, and then we finally had that one in the corner of the front.
Right at the pylon with Crabtree.
Yes. And we were waiting like, this is it, right? This is
I think the one you're talking about. I think that was a pass to Jared Cook. I think it was Cook again.
In the back of the end zone.
In the back of the end zone.
He got held or pushed.
He was
going up for it, went through his hands. Yeah.
Yeah, he got pushed and they called it out of bounds, but the flag was thrown. Called pass interference.
Because a game cannot end on a defensive penalty.
No, it can't.
Free play.
And then, of course, if you want to just add another one, yet again, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm in fucking Kansas. But when we beat the Chiefs out here at home, victory lap game.
The victory lap game.
When it happened, you don't understand the shit talking I was able to do that game. I walked in that whole week. Nobody wanted to be around me because you know what? I was talking shit and I was talking shit big.
And you know what was cool about? You know what was cool about that was the 2020 season. I know a lot of stadiums did not have fans in their stadiums, but the Kansas City Chiefs had some fans in their stadium, and they saw that live. The Raiders coming in and pulling out a victory on their home field,
shutting down the Chiefs in the second half. They flat out shut down Mahomes.
And that's what the John Gruden teams that he was trying to do was build a team to beat the Chiefs because that was our problem in our division.
Mm-hmm.
So
you always got to play out first if you win the division. Win the division first, then you can move on and worry about everything else. You got to win the division. Yes, we were the first wild card team to win the Super Bowl, but that's just too many games. There's too many chances. Win the division.
Yes. Well, that team that you're talking about, the 1980, led by Pastorini before he broke his leg and Plunkett came in to take over. That team, a lot of folks wasn't expecting that team to go far, especially after coming in Plunkett, who got beat up in New England, then got beat up in San Francisco and was out of the league for 2 years.
Was basically a career backup at that point. Came in and played not only like a starter, but he took control of that team and then turned around and did it again.
Yeah. Because
that was the Tom Flores led team. And turn around and that's that. But right there, though, tell me, that proves what the Raiders always did. That's what Al Davis always did. Reclamation projects.
Yes.
That was Al Davis's favorite thing right there. Oh, we're going to bring him over here, and he's going to play better over here.
Yes.
Who was the last player we did that with? Al Davis Spirit. Darren Waller.
Yes.
Darren Waller was the last player we did it with. We saw him at practice. He didn't do shit over there at the Ravens. He changed the whole Ravens aspect right there. They no longer bring their practice players out to practice on the fields anymore because we took them, and then he balled out for us.
Yeah, and he was a guy who probably a lot of teams weren't really thinking about because he was dealing with his painkillers and everything, and he wasn't able to take the sport of football seriously until he got that second chance with the Raiders. He just needed somebody to believe in him, and that year he balled out. I don't know what happened this last year. I mean, he came out with a couple songs when he was injured.
That's what it is. He got rap famous.
I'm trying to get to his. I think he's supposed to have an album release party. I'm just joking. I don't know.
See, that's what you get rap famous and you forget how to do everything else. Now all you gotta do is be on the mic.
But yeah, so that Chiefs game, yeah. So speaking of the Coliseum and the Oakland teams, let's go to our next question. And the 25 years in Oakland, you said you had season tickets starting in 2003. The 25 years in Oakland before they moved to Las Vegas a couple years ago. What do you miss? What about Oakland that stands out? And I know you haven't been able to go to any games yet in Las Vegas, no. But you can still talk about what you remember because you went to every game in Oakland, just about. What do you miss? What is it that stands out that you miss in Oakland that maybe even though you haven't been to the Vegas one yet, that for sure is only an Oakland staple that you're probably only going to experience that in Oakland?
Oakland was Mecca. It's always going to be Mecca. So that being said, I always refer to those Sundays, those Thursdays, those Mondays. That was church.
Yes.
That was church.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Roller.
That was church. I miss the tailgates. I miss the, before the game, it didn't matter anything. When you was in Oakland, there was always a chance we was going to win that game. When you walked in until that game hit all zeros, you never gave up. You went in tailgated. I miss the tailgates. I miss the people. I miss the atmosphere in the stadium. I mean, there was nothing like that Oakland Coliseum. That football field during the beginning of the season. That dirt field, seeing that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, the baseball field. Seeing that diamond, seeing kickers, the opposing kickers trying to kick on that shit and can't do it because they're slipping and sliding, yet you got Janikowski who could plan on that and boot it 60 goddamn yards.
Yes.
I miss the sights. I really the atmosphere of that stadium. Like I said about that Chiefs game, when that stadium erupted, I will even go. We'll bring back some memory. That AB game, that chant that got started. I was one of the guys who helped start that chant. The fact that you could go back to that game and clearly hear "fuck AB" after we scored that touchdown. The wide receiver, I can't remember which wide receiver it was, but after he scored that touchdown, you hear it on TV. Being down there, there's nothing like you feel it throughout your body when that stadium erupts. That Marshawn Lynch dance, even though it screwed us up for the whole season, once it got seen and put on that jumbotron, the whole stadium was down there, rocking and going. There's nothing like Raiders fans. Ain't nothing like Raiders fans. This is for 90% of us. This isn't a football team. This is a lifestyle. We've talked about. We both started our super fan careers late into the Oakland time frame.
Yeah.
And it's hard to come up with a super fan idea that's not already done by another Raider fan.
Yeah.
You think of an idea and you could pop up 6 different people who've already got it. That was the hard part for me because I wanted to be that different. I wanted to be, I wanted something original. It took me 5 years to come up with my super fan persona. Now, don't get me wrong, it fits. But, it took 5 years because I wanted different. But that's the thing. People always said it was bad. Go to Oakland, go to a tailgate. I don't care if you were the opposing team. Any single tailgate out there would accept them in, would give them beer, give them alcohol, give them food. There was going to be shit talking.
Of course.
But if you weren't a complete douchebag coming up, you were accepted to any tailgate. We loved the rivalries as fans. We love to talk shit, but we also love to have a good time. And to me, I miss Christmases, New Year's, birthdays, anniversaries. If they played on that day, you knew where to find me, and it wasn't going to be at home. That was church.
Oh,
And
it was
that's the only way I
actually
can explain it.
your other home, the Oakland
I'm at my
Coliseum.
other home. I'm at church, the church
Yes.
of Al Davis.
Yes. No, yeah. I mean, you
I
know,
got Al Davis and John Madden tattooed on my throat.
yeah.
You know, because those are the Godfathers right there. That's, you know, those are our Church of Scientology, whatever you want to call it. Those are our fucking leaders. That's who we looked up to.
That's your Tom Cruise and who else?
I'll jump the couch if I have to, but you know what? I mean, that was church. I mean, that's what I miss. What about you? I mean, what do you miss? You've been there longer than I was.
You know, like the atmosphere. I mean, just before I started dressing up as the Macho Man, the Oakland Raider Savage, I started that in 2017, but I've been going to games since '95 when they first came back. My dad had season tickets. I was there at the beginning of the Black Hole when it started out here in the city that I live in. It was, we're gonna say 16 miles south of Oakland, where the Black Hole started. A group of friends, you know, from high school and family friends, 2 blocks away from where I lived at the time. You know, so I was there in the beginning, and I'm 10 years old, and I'm at a Raider game. I can't remember. I think my first Raider game was against the Colts in the preseason game. I was 10 years old. You know, I'm still like soaking everything in. But I do remember there was one season. I want to say it was when John Gruden's first tenure, when he first came in '98. I went to a lot of those games, '98, '99. My dad played music out in the Coliseum. My dad brought his band out there, and a lot of the generation, Raider fan generation, who went to those Black Hole tailgates remember the Lowdown Band playing music. They'll play Friday and Saturday night at the Oakland Hilton down the street from the Coliseum, off of Hagenberger right there. Friday and Saturday game, the weekends of the home games, and then watch them again playing at the tailgate. And I'm like 11, 12 years old when my dad started playing at the Hilton. I'm 11, 12 years old at a sports bar on Friday and Saturday nights, watching my dad play music. I'm the only super minor, basically, in the little sports lounge they had before. They had a stage. They don't have the stage to run over. I just went to the Hilton. I visited the Hilton a couple years with my mom. We went to the bar over there, just kind of like see how it used to look or what it looks like now. But I remember, you know, Jerry Rice, when he played with the Raiders, came on stage. Jack Tatum and I'm forgetting his name, the tight end for the Raiders, Raymond Chester. Jack Tatum and Raymond Chester were like good buddies, you know, at the time before Jack Tatum passed away. But Jack Tatum will go up there. Raymond Chester had a harmonica. He'll go up there and start playing his harmonica with my dad's band at the Oakland Hilton. So I would see these legends. Run Jones. People know who Run Jones was. He was the original water boy. Been with the team forever. He died because he was an old man, but he passed away at the Raider facility in Alameda. That's how much of a Raider he was.
Wasn't there a story or something about him and one of the Black Hole founders squaring off, not fighting, but it was like on the line of racing or some shit like that? And
that is for another show.
Okay.
I'm not going to disclose and stuff like that. But I will tell you about Run Jones. Run Jones being a part of the organization, he also got Super Bowl rings for being a part of the organization. He had all 3 rings, and he'll go out there to the bar at the Hilton, and he'll have like a young 20-something-year-old on his arm. This old man with a young 20-something on his arm, flashing his rings at the bar like he's, you know, like a superstar. So these are the things I remember Run Jones. And I'll go up there and I'll talk to him. He's like, "Hey, what's up, young man?" Da, 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 you know. So this is like, at the time, I didn't understand it. what was happening. I didn't really fully understand. Like I knew who Jack Tatum was and Raymond Chester, but I didn't understand that I was a kid amongst legends, Raider legends, growing up. And then, like I said, going to the Coliseum the Sunday morning, my dad would play music with his band, and you had like I said, Raymond Chester. He would go to some of the tailgates and go up there. That's when I met Raider Rob Howard. He has his own show, his own YouTube channel, Raider Fan Radio. That's the first time I met him. He would get the crowd pumping, but my dad was getting his band, like setting up and everything, but it has his microphones on. Yeah, and Rob would be up there. Raider Rob would be up there. Raider Nation, which he's the first one to say Raider Nation. Raider Nation, we're here. We're going to go. And like say there was somebody who wanted to be part of the Black Hole. So Rob be all like, Black Hole members, come here to the front. Come here to the front. That's how we talk to. Come here to the front. We got, what's your name? He'll say, my name is Tom. Tom wants to be a Black Hole member. All original members come up and they all get their own beards, crack the beers open, and they just pour it on the dude. And the dude's like, yeah, and they're like, you are now baptized in the Black Hole. Welcome to the Black Hole. And the dude will be all excited. Yeah, Black Hole. Da, da, da. And that was, I don't know how that started, but Raider Rob would initiate that. And he'll basically have, like you feel like church, he'll have like a sermon like Raider Nation. We're playing the Broncos. We're gonna kick the donkeys, da 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 da, and people will get fired up. And then, all right, now we got Sal Ramos, my dad, Sal Ramos on the lowdown, and they start playing, and then everyone would just start dancing. This was my childhood. So that's how
I wish I could have been there for that. Black Hole was a big part of my life and a big part of, my journey with the Raider Nation and Raiders, and legendary tailgates. Don't get me wrong. I wish I could have been there for some of that earlier stuff. I did get the luxury of seeing your dad play a few times there, towards, his special appearances, if you want to call it that. Yeah. A few things. So I did get lucky there, but, I wish I could have been there. I mean, a little jealous on that one, but you know what? I like you said, though, but that's the thing that we talk about. This isn't just during the games, though. We're like, this is, 24/7, 365.
Yes.
And when the season starts, a preseason game is just like a regular season game to us.
Yes.
We don't change anything. We tailgate just as hard on a preseason game as we do if it was a damn Super Bowl.
It's preseason for us too. We're there with them, step by step, play by play.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, and with the Coliseum itself, I mean, I still I'll go to A's games. And, I'm trying to go to some A's games now, like this could be my last few opportunities just to be in that Coliseum, because you don't know what the city of Oakland's going to do. But I'll still go there now.
We know what they're going to do. We know what they're going to do. They're going to do the same thing as they did with our Raiders.
Well, I'm talking about with the Coliseum. I don't know if they're going to tear it down or whatever. I'm just trying to get every last opportunity just to walk within those walls and feel the memories again. I'll still go to an A's game. There'll be like maybe 2,000, 2,500 people there. And I'll still go in the halls and I'll be like, Raiders. And my girlfriend will be like, oh, here we go again. But I'm like, Raiders.
Nothing like walking down those hallways and hearing Raiders chanted. Win, lose, it didn't matter. We walked into that building and left that building one way. And it was always screaming, Raiders.
Yes. And I still try to do that now and see who responds. And I'll be like, Raiders. And in the background, Raiders. Yeah, we're still here. We're still here. We're not, even though they don't play on that turf anymore. They don't play in the Coliseum anymore. We are still here. And every time I'll be at an A's game, and I can still remember where the Black Hole sits at, where your seats were at, behind home plate, basically. You were on the behind the third base dugout in that area at 120.
In that area. Yep.
Yeah, I sat all over the Coliseum when I was out. And if I can get into that stadium, I don't care if I was up in the third deck or wherever.
It's funny. Anytime I see the seats, whether it's highlights of old games or you show a picture, of the aerial view of the stadium, I can still pick out my seat. And I've sat that same seat 17 years, never sat anywhere else. That's one of those little facts that, that makes me proud. From game one and a lot of people don't know, I almost missed the last game of the season the year before when we thought that was the last game.
The Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I had moved out to Kansas, and it was the first year, and it was a choice: go to the Raider game, or let my wife have her first Christmas with her whole family and everything. And that was the hardest decision I ever made, to stay home. She gave me permission to go. She understood. She knows what this means to me. But I didn't do it. I didn't go. And when I turned around and they said, 1 more year, I turned around and told her, ain't nothing stopping me. That game I'm going to be at. And I'm proud to be able to say I was at that last game. Even though it ended shittily and we should have had that win, I was at that last game.
That last tailgate, that last game, one last ride as Oakland Raiders.
As the Oakland Raiders.
You know, the one thing, like, I love going to the Coliseum. It's those night games. You walk in there and you see the lights off of Mount Davis, and it's just something about it. It's like I never, you know, I don't know how it was at the Coliseum out there. You know, no, like the Roman Coliseum. I don't know how that was back then, you know, BC, whatever. I don't know. But I'm assuming, huh?
Everyone hold